Good evening. My name is Andrew Randall and I'm Hospiscare's Chief Executive. On behalf of all my colleagues at Hospiscare, I'd like to welcome you to the 2021 Hospiscare Light Up a Life Remembrance Celebration. Thank you for joining us this evening, and I hope you have been keeping well despite the uncertain times we still find ourselves in. We gather today to remember the lives of those special people whom we have loved and lost. Whilst we may not be able to gather together in person to celebrate our loved ones again this year, we know how important it is to come together in spirit, to remember them, and to remind ourselves that we are not alone in our grief and memories during these special holidays. Our celebration tonight is led by Lucy Ann Ashdown, our spiritual care lead at Hospiscare. Before I hand over to Lucy Ann to take us through this evening's celebration, I'd like to wish everyone watching the very best for this festive period from us all at Hospiscare. Lucy Ann.
Thank you, Andrew. It's really lovely for me to be here for this, my first Light Up a Life with Hospiscare on such a special occasion. So as we gather as people in all different places, as we watch this or this evening, we're from all walks of life, different cultures, faiths, worldviews and perspectives, but we come with something in common which brings us here. Each of us knows what it is to have loved and lost. And so we come with our mutual need to remember. We remember those lives who have touched ours and whose lives and memories we this evening will light up with music, poetry, candles and all that flows from our hearts. We come to witness that grief never ends, but it changes. It's the passage, not a place to stay. Grief is not a sign of weakness nor a lack of faith. It's the price of love. And now it's my privilege to introduce Ellie, who's our new corporate fundraiser, who's going to sing to us this evening the winter song.
This is my winter song to you. The storm is coming soon. It rolls in from the sea. My voice a beacon in the night. My words will be your light to carry you to me. Is love for life? Is love for life? Is love? They say that things just cannot grow beneath the winter snow, or so I have been told. They say we're buried far, just like a distant star I simply cannot hold. Is love for life? Is love for life? Is love for life?
Wild Geese by Mary Oliver. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things.
And now Bo and Tilly are going to read from us from a book whose quotes you might have been seen fleeting around your Facebook page over the last 18 months, giving us all hope.
This is an extract from The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse by Charlie Maxey. I realised why we are here, whispered the boy.
For cake, asked the mole.
To love, said the boy.
And to be loved, said the horse.
What do we do when our hearts hurt, asked the boy.
We wrap them in friendship, shed tears and time, till they wake hopeful and happy again.
Do you have any other advice, asked the boy.
Don't measure how valuable you are by the way you were treated, said the horse. Always remember, you matter, you're important and you are loved, and you bring to this world things no one else can.
When you're weary, feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I will dry them all. I'm on your side. Oh, when times get rough and friends just can't be found, like a
So just before we light our candles this evening and bring more intentionally to mind those people we want to remember this evening, just a reflection to spark our thoughts and maybe encourage us where we are. I don't know if any of you had this, but as a child, I was fascinated by an activity at school, which involved taking a piece of paper and some crayons, and using those crayons, we were asked to cover the paper with all the colours of the rainbow. And once that paper was covered with all the colours of the rainbow, then we were asked to cover all those base covers we just put on with a black crayon until all the rainbow colours on the bottom were no longer visible. And then with blunt-ended scissors, we began to draw on the paper, pressing just deep enough to move through all the layers of crayon, but not so deep as to damage the paper. The result was remarkable. As each of us began to draw, to our surprise and delight, multicoloured animals, butterflies, villages, and landscapes appeared. Somehow, our creations were more vivid and animated by the process of layering as they emerged from their dark covering. This struck me as a beautiful metaphor for grief. Just like each of us then drew entirely different pictures, so each of us now grieves in our own way. When our hearts are sad and wintry, we can feel that all of life has lost its shine, colour, meaning, and purpose, hidden as it is under the layers of sadness and bewilderment. Slowly, however, new forces can emerge which we barely understand. We find ourselves warmed and encouraged by glimpses of light and colour. We watch the spring bulbs poking through the earth. We sit with fond memories or experience the kindness of others. So, as we meet or watch this service together, we're filming just a few days before the winter solstice when light is at its most scarce. We do this as an act of love and hope, encouraging and enabling one another to hold on to the truth that the light will return. And as we light our candles, our act of loving remembrance for those special to us, perhaps, and this is my prayer, a new shape, colour, or insight might surprise us. The imagination of our hearts might be awakened by a hopeful anticipation of a yet unseen future. And in this future, you will always remember, you matter, you're important, you are loved, and you bring to this world things no one else can. So now, wherever you are, I hope that you have a candle as well, or something similar, and we're going to light our candle this evening to remember the people that are special to us.
I'll sing it one last time for you. We really have to go. And the only thing that's right in all I've done, can barely look at you every single time I do. I know we'll make it anywhere away from here. Light up, as if you have a choice. Even if you cannot hear my voice, I'll be right beside you, dear. Louder, we'll run for our lives. I can hardly speak, I understand. You can raise your voice to say, think I might not see those eyes, makes it so hard not to cry as we say our last goodbyes. I nearly do. Light up, as if you have a choice. Even if you cannot hear my voice, I'll be right beside you, dear. Louder, we'll run for our lives. I can hardly speak, I understand. You can raise your voice to say, slower, don't have time for that. All I want to find an easy way, get out of a tiny hills. Have heart, my dear, bound to be afraid, even if it's just for a few days, making up for all this mess. Light up, as if you have a choice. Even if you cannot hear my voice, I'll be right beside you, dear. Light up, as if you have a choice. Even if you cannot hear my voice, I'll be right beside you, dear.
Where many rivers meet. All the water below me came from above. All the clouds living in the mountains gave it to the rivers, who gave it to the sea, which was there dying. And so I float on cloud become water, central sea surrounded by white mountains, the water salt once fresh, cloud fall and stream rush, tree root and tide bank. leading to the rivers' mouths. And the mouths of the rivers sing into the sea. The stories buried in the mountains give out into the sea, and the sea remembers and sings back from the depths where nothing is forgotten.
And now we come to a really special and perhaps slightly fun part of our memories. We're now going to see some slides of people's traditional Christmas memories of loved ones who that they have now lost, but whose memories might still make them smile with their family idiosyncrasies and quirks at this time of year.
From Here to the Moon and Back by Willie Nelson. I could hold out my arms and say, I love you this much. I could tell you how long I will long for your touch, how much and how far would I go to prove the depth and the breadth of my love for you. From here to the moon and back. Who else in the world will love you like that? Love everlasting, I promise you that. From here to the moon and back. From here to the moon and back. I want you to know you can always depend on promises made and love without end. No need to wonder how faithful I'll be. now and on into eternity. From here to the moon and back. Who else in this world will love you like that? Forever and always, I'll be where you're at. From here to the moon and back. From here to the moon and back. I'd blow you a kiss as I wish on a star, counting my blessings for all that you are. Thank heaven for you, and to God tip my hat. From here to the moon and back. And I'll spend forever just proving that fact. From here to the moon and back. Who will love you like that? From here to the moon and back.
Well, thank you for tuning in. We've now reached the end of our service for this year's special lighting up of the memories of those we love. And however you celebrate this time, we wish you a happy holiday or a Merry Christmas, or if there are other festivities that go on for you at this time of year, then we send you our warmest wishes. And I just want to read you the end of a poem that I found recently that I thought might be a suitable ending for us. It's from a poem by Polly Castor, written last year. May you enjoy this special season. May you be introspective and kind. May you be productive and creative. May you nest and cook and chat. May you extend love and solicitude and have that returned with interest. May you feel the hope of progress in the modest, brisk beginning as you sigh and see your breath, and patiently yet again shuffle out from this cold, fluffy, but dear stuff that is winter. As you sigh and as you sigh